I never thought I would see the day where me and Megyn Kelly have common ground. One, this whole Nancy Guthrie situation, the disappearance or the kidnapping, it's very weird, very strange, and somebody is not telling the truth. And we both don't like Chris Cuomo. And listen, I might not be a fan of Megyn Kelly, but I love white on white crime. So let's go ahead and get into this video. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started, you guys. You who have been following me, remember I exposed that I had been talking about Don Lemon because he's basically calling him out for being a quote unquote rage baiter and putting Don Lemon in the same category as Megyn Kelly. Now, no matter what, Don Lemon is way better than Megyn Kelly. But Megyn Kelly finally responds back to Chris Cuomo because I guess on News Nation, which Megyn Kelly got a point, nobody watches it, has been calling Megyn Kelly out for questioning what's going on with the Nancy Guthrie situation. And let's be honest, why are all the ransom notices going to TMZ, Harvey Levin? Yo, you don't find that suspicious at all, at least? But hey, who am I to judge? Let's go ahead and get into this video, you guys.
That's how it's supposed to work. And the sheriff should know better. It's actually quite interesting now because I'll show you what the douchebag Chris Cuomo is saying. In fact, let's just play it now. It's 52. He's very upset that Ashley Banfield and yours truly have raised questions about the brother-in-law. Ashley's reporting, and based on Ashley's reporting, we've asked questions on this program. And here's Fredo Cuomo on his little-known show on News Nation, which has less viewers than I have fingers.
And by the way, that's off of the Godfather character. And so that's a derogatory term. Now, some people be like, oh, yeah, that's like the N-word. No, the N-word is the N-word. It is not the same.
Now, look, I've never heard law enforcement make this kind of a statement during an investigation. And I'm not calling for the family to be removed from suspicion. The job is the job, right? But the job is also, you don't speculate just because you don't care that you're destroying this family, just because it may get you some clicks. But I want to correct something the sheriff said. It's not the media. No one who pays attention to the law or any standard of decency is doing this. What these digital people are doing. It's the digital media. It's those denizens. It's people who get paid for clicks and rage bait. All right? These fugazi, sloppy influencers and would-be sleuths, right? The truth about whether Nancy Guthrie's family is under scrutiny. She doesn't know a damn thing. The reason the cops are going back to the home is because the police think she did it. Where'd she get that? Bullshit. The video messages from the family are like a movie. It's from Silence of the Lambs. Why are they doing that?
Okay. So let me tell you what Fredo is really upset about. He has Fredo no Rado. That's his real problem. Nobody watches his show on News Nation, and I mean nobody. And nobody watches his failed podcast either. Nobody watched his Sirius radio show. Nobody watched him on CNN. And therefore, he gets upset at anybody who does well, like our show, which is always one of the top 3 conservative podcasts in the nation. It's currently #1 on Apple. Fredo doesn't like that. Okay. Because as I say, Fredo no Rado. So he gets upset and he gets jealous. Sometimes in the past on this show, we've called out Fredo for his terrible behavior, for his bad ratings, for his lies about bumping into people who just happen to be listening to his podcast. Like I've never told before. Fredo actually called my lawyer, who he happened to use briefly on a legal matter, and begged the lawyer to get me to stop mentioning him. He didn't want me to attack him because it hurt his little feelings. So now Fredo sees an opportunity to attack yours truly because, of course, we're doing well with this story too, as we do when we do other news, which Fredo can't relate to. So Fredo's upset, and Fredo's trying to play the protector of the Guthrie family. Meanwhile, there are a few in news who have done more for the Guthrie family than this show. We have covered this story extensively since it broke because Fredo doesn't understand, but I too am a news woman like Savannah. I too worked at the Today Show like Savannah Guthrie. I too have been the victim of a deranged stalker, which may be one of the possibilities here. Something Fredo doesn't realize we've covered extensively as well on this program. I too know Ashley Banfield extremely well, and she's had extremely solid reporting for 20 years in the crime and other fields as well. And so when she tells me she's got a solid source, I take her very seriously. And I also saw this matter being discussed. Guess where else? On News Nation, all around Fredo, by Elizabeth Vargas, by Jesse Weber, Dan Abrams, who had the show right before Chris Cuomo for years, did a long segment on it with Ashley Banfield. It's all over Fox News. Jesse Waters, Sean Hannity, up and down the lineup, Laura Ingraham, all of them have discussed whether the brother-in-law had anything to do with it, because in an investigation like this, you don't rule out family because of feelings, because of your little feelings, Fredo.
And that's one thing, because definitely you can question Megyn Kelly, because a lot of the stuff that comes out her mouth is bullshit. Let's not even play dumb, right? But the reason why he specifically is calling out Megyn Kelly out of everybody is because he wants to prove like he's the better person. You know, oh, I'm on a network. I'm not like these independent journalists like Megyn Kelly and Don Lemon and Joy Reid. I'm better than them. I'm more honest. And it's all like, dude, shut the hell up. Get out of here with that. And so I get where Megyn Kelly is coming from, because all these other news stations are talking about it, but yet you're calling me out.
Because I know you're in the business of protecting your family. Okay, we learned that firsthand during COVID when you put your loser brother on there and ran cover for him. And then ultimately, it was one of the things that led to your downfall, because you didn't report honestly on his many, many problems during COVID, or his many, many problems in grabbing women. And perhaps the reason you chose not to do that is because you yourself were accused of having a Me Too problem, as you well know. Okay. We had the senior executive producer on this program who talked all about you and your behavior in a bar with her. There was another woman at CNN who came forward against you, who did a whole podcast about the discomfort you made her feel. And then there was an anonymous woman who came forward who was the last straw before your firing. So you have a long history, I understand, of running cover.
And she was talking about Angela Rye with the podcast, by the way.
For family. That's not what we do here on the actual news. We talk about what the police are doing, and we try to glean where the investigation is going. And we especially do that when we have a sheriff who repeatedly, when asked whether anyone has been ruled out, says no one's been ruled out. Absolutely not. Not the family. No one. No one's been ruled out. Everyone remains a suspect until we have somebody in handcuffs. That's the way you do it. And you especially do it that way when the sheriff tows the car belonging to the sister and her husband and impounds it. You do that when the sheriff and the FBI continuously return to the sister and her husband's home, taking pictures in the middle of the night with the lights off, suggesting there may be something that they need to capture in the same hour of night as Nancy Guthrie went missing from her home.
Fair.
Go back time and time again to search the home and take belongings from the home and take photographs of the home, which is not the crime scene. So this is what a responsible reporter does. What they don't do is stage news. Okay, I need to help you, Fredo, because you're a little begging to my lawyer to get me to lay off if you didn't work. So this is what you're going to have to deal with. Actual.
So she brings up about how he was out pictured biking, but at the same time, he was supposed to have COVID. And then he did this whole news story where, not a news story, but on his Instagram, I'm coming out the basement for the first time. But he had already been out and about outside and he got caught by the paparazzi. So that's the story that she's going to mention. But it's interesting that he used her same lawyer, which, I mean, these people all use the same lawyers. Like, there's a lot of people who we like who have used lawyers that Trump has used before, right? But that her lawyer was told, like, hey, can you lay off of, Chris Cuomo? Can you not talk about him? Because, he's supposed to be somebody who's honest and, you're able to say whatever and, you're not afraid. But yet you didn't want Megyn Kelly talking. So why you want her to shut up? Very interesting. But also, too, I want to point this out. With Megyn Kelly, and honestly, to tell you the truth, she has every right to question what's going on with Nancy Guthrie. Now, there's a way that you go about it, and there's a way that you do it, right? You can definitely criticize that. But Chris Cuomo is not coming from that place where he's criticizing Megyn Kelly because she's wrong. He's purposely attacking her and other people like Don Lemon, Joy Reid, and so forth, Jim Acosta too, just because he's jealous that he's not getting the same attention. He feels that he's the best ever. And because since his fall from grace from CNN, he wants to get that spot back. But I'm sorry to tell you, no one's watching legacy media like that. You have to come into the times that we're in right now. Independent media is everything. But hey, what do you know? But anyway, you guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell and press all so you get all my notifications. How'd you guys feel about this? Now, again, this is the first time that Megyn Kelly has clapped back at Chris Cuomo. He's been coming at these independent journalists talking about they're lying and doing rage bait for clicks and views. Yeah, you know, some of them do that. We can't lie about that, but not all. You just sound like a dusty hater. Anyway, y'all, I love y'all. Be safe. Love one another. We out.